talk about eggs and how to prepare them. This is another one of those little labs that I usually do for students before we really get into the kitchen. All right, as you can see, I have my mise en place together again. I'm gonna get real used to that term. So I have my pan here. I have a butane burner to show you the demonstrations with. We usually would do this on the stove back there and actually on the grill also, you know, over that way. But since I'm doing this as a demonstration, I'm just going to do everything right here. First off, an egg. It cooks up pretty quickly, and actually it doesn't need a lot of heat to cook. So, and most of the time, whenever you get eggs at the store, you're going to get an egg that is unfertilized. A lot of times people will say, you know, like, look at the little white part there that is in the egg and say, oh, that's a chick. No, it's not. That's just where the chick would attach itself if the egg were fertilized. But right now, it's not fertilized. So, and you get dark spots in eggs also. That doesn't mean that the egg is fertilized either. It's just something that happens every once in a while. And it's perfectly fine to eat, but usually people don't like eating that. But if it's like a baking thing or whatnot, then I usually will just put it in my baking products because I know that it's just a deformity in the egg. That's all. You have actually two white areas, and I don't know if you can see this or not. You have the yolk, which is your protein where a chick would feed off of. That's what the chick would eat as it was developing. Then you have this yolk here that's closer to, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, I can. Okay. So a yolk that's sort of, or you know, white that's sort of closer to the egg, and then another white that's a little bit watery. So that's all perfectly fine, and that's how an egg should be. Okay. Again, eggs don't take a lot of heat to cook, so that's one of the things that you have to watch whenever you go to cook an egg, is that you are not turning up the heat too high, or you're adjusting the heat as you go. Okay, I'm going to put my pan on the heat, and I'm going to get that pan warmed up a little bit before I put my egg in there, because I want, and that's about what you want to do with just about anything that you do as far as cooking goes, is you want your pan to be a little heated up before you start cooking, because especially if you put oil or something in the pan, because the thing is that if you go to put something in that pan and it's not heated up, then you're not going to immediately start cooking something, and whatever the product is that you have in there is just going to stay in oil, and it's just going to soak up oil and get greasy. So you want to make sure that you put the heat on before you start cooking. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit of butter in there. Not a huge amount of butter. This is a non-stick pan, so it makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to coat the bottom of that pan with the butter, and then I'm going to put my egg right in there. Alright, so let this cook a little bit, and while I'm cooking it, I'm going to make sure that the egg is not sticking to the pan. I want it sort of moving around the pan a little bit. Alright, and once the egg is cooked a little bit on the bottom, and you can tell that it's moving around a little bit, then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flip it. And as you notice, I did not use a spatula to flip that egg with. I just flipped it, got that right at the edge of the pan, and used my wrist. I'll show you a couple more times that, but right there you have a nice over easy egg. Okay, so there we have an over easy egg. All right. Easiest way to make an over hard egg and as you see, I'm turn that down a little bit more. Okay. So the easiest way to make an over hard egg is before you flip that egg, just punch the yolk down a little bit. And as you see, the egg is moving around, and I'm just gonna go like that. It's just a little motion, all right? I could have probably done that one a little neater, but so it's not like you're using your whole arm, you're using pretty much your wrist. Okay, I'm gonna do that one more time for you, just to see. See, I'm not really using my arm at all, I'm just using my wrist. So, there's an over hard egg right there. Okay, another type of egg to do is scrambled, and I do not use milk in my scrambled eggs. At restaurants, you're not going to get scrambled eggs that have milk in them for the most part, unless it's like a fancy omelet or something like that. Then you might get cream or milk or something like that in the omelet, but they're going to let you know if they're adding that kind of stuff. They always have to at the restaurant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 eggs, I'm going to stick it in here in the bowl here, and I'm just going to whisk them up a little bit. The more air you put into these eggs by whisking is the fluffier the egg is going to be whenever you go to cook it. So that's something to keep in mind. You want the egg to look a little frothy, just like that. Okay, you see how there's a little bit of air incorporated in there. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna put some butter in there again. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, as my egg cooks, I'm going to take my rubber spatula and just pull the cooked egg into the center. Let it get to the point where it's pretty well cooked. And then again, whoop, here we go. And go ahead and flip that egg. All right, and so we have scrambled eggs.